You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, trying. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thursday, November 20th. Thank you guys for joining us. It's another gloomy, dreary, fall-like day in the Quad Cities. So no reason to go outside, do anything crazy. If you're at work, join us. We'll get you through the morning, get you to lunch, all those kind of things as we talk sports and, of course, a little bit more right here on OTA. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate you for that. Up to nearly 1,400 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,500 by the first of the year. So let's continue that. Tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing right here every single weekday at 10 a.m. on YouTube, Off the Air. It's been a lot of fun. Getting close to a year, about 11 months right now, 10, 11 months right now. So looking forward to celebrating that year mark if we make it there, and I think we will. Things are going very well. If you're watching us live on X, we thank you for that as well. X is always very, very good to us, so make sure you're giving us your feedback on X. The YouTube stream as well has a chat on it. Make sure you tune into that as well. Be active. Tell us what you think, what you don't think, all those kind of things. We are available on all the podcasting platforms as well. Go to anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Listen to the show. Much better than watching sometimes. Listen to the show. And we appreciate everyone that does that each and every day. We thank you for doing that as well. And also welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa. The show is on the WA Show streaming app every single evening at 7 p.m. So thank you guys for your feedback and listening and watching as well. Yesterday was a bit of a struggle. Technology got the best of me. Internet got the best of me, but we got the show up and going. We got it out there. It was at a different time, a little later than we like to have it. But if you missed it, you can go check it out from yesterday. Yesterday's guest, Jake Bren, talking everything Iowa State. Tyler Tasherman as well. And then also we had our next guest segment like we normally do at Hungry Hobo. Excuse me. So, we have that. Go look at it. Go check it out. Get into the Nest Guests Pick'em contest. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone who gets involved each and every week with that contest as well. But this week alone, Monday, Pat Anger, John Marks, and Kyle Huseman. On Tuesday, Nicholas Baer, former Iowa standout, former Bettendorf standout, joined us, along with Taylor Thiel, the new head coach, and the grandson of legendary head coach John Thiel down at Galesburg, and then also Chad Braun of Monmouth College Football, the Fighting Scots heading to the postseason once again as well. So it's been a fun week. Go check out those shows, but do that later. We have a brand new show for you this evening, or this morning, I should say. Coming up in just a matter of moments, Kedric Prince will join us to talk about the Fighting Illini. They've had a challenging schedule already to the season. They already knocked off Texas Tech earlier this year, about a week ago. Last night they were in Chicago at the United Center to take on Alabama. It was Alabama edging the Illini 90-86, the final score. A high-quality basketball game, college basketball game. Two really good teams going head-to-head. Love the crowd. I thought it was a great crowd. Brad Underwood kind of mentioned it in the postgame. It wasn't too long ago, 7-8 years ago, they played at the United Center and it was half empty. And now last night they played there, 18,000, and the vast majority of them Illinois fans. So great crowd at the UC. Free throws costing the Illini just 13 of 23 from the free throw line. So a game that you might be thinking, what if, and maybe you let one slip away, but a good effort. You could tell they belong. Kedric Prince will join us in a little bit because coming up, Illinois has two games against two cupcakes in the next week, but it's a week from tomorrow. They take on UConn at Madison Square Garden on Black Friday at 11:30. And so many great things. Gosh, you look forward to next week and Thanksgiving. It's a holiday week, and there's so many great things to look forward to when you come to that weekend. So that's what we're going to do with our poll question of the day for OTA. I want you to go to Twitter. You can weigh in as well. What's the best part of Thanksgiving weekend, stuff like that? Is it the football? You got NFL, you got Black Friday, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Northwestern, a really good weekend of football, obviously, but that Thursday, Friday is pretty fun when it comes to Thanksgiving football. Everyone thinks of it. Everyone loves it. And then Black Friday stuff as well. So is it football? Is it feast week? College basketball? Iowa goes to Palm Springs. They play their first really good competition of the season. You have Illinois going to Madison Square Garden to take on UConn, and you look at it, it's feast week for a reason. There's great college basketball games on all the time next week, including through Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So you got football, you got feast week. Is it food? Is it family? Weigh in at the poll, the OTA poll. Best part of next week. For me, it's football. And we'll talk next week about food because I love Thanksgiving food. I get it. But is it overrated? We'll talk about that next week, because if it's the best meal of the year that you're going to eat, and everybody thinks football, or food, I should say, is turkey and stuffing like the best food you could think of? So we'll talk about that next week. But today's poll question, go to at Matt Randazzo on X and weigh in. Is it football, feast week, food, family? What's the best part about what we get to enjoy next week when it comes to Thanksgiving week? A few more news and notes before we get to our first guest. It is, I should say, decision day for Addison Bjorn, one of the top women's basketball recruits in the country. She's down to 7 schools. Iowa is one of them. She's supposed to announce around 11:15, so just over an hour from right now. Everything I'm hearing is it's going to be Texas. That's not official. We'll keep an eye on it, but everything I've been told is that Texas seems to be the front runner and the choice for Addison Bjorn. So maybe a little disappointment for Iowa, but they obviously have Felichko, which is the prize recruit in that class, and they'll continue to add to that a little bit as well. So we'll keep tabs of that, make sure we get that right. We don't want to speculate too much, but everything I've been told, it's going to be Texas coming up here in about an hour. One last thing, congratulations once again. We kind of talk about it. We talk about Illinois, Iowa, Iowa State in this area. We always have to talk about Central Michigan because the Chippewas won again last night. They're now 7-4, 28-16, the final on that one. And you're asking me, why do I care about Central Michigan football? Well, their head coach is Bettendorf standout, former Hawkeye Matt Drinkle. He took over this season after being at Army as the offensive line coach and OC and everything else for the last 5 years. Got his roots started here at St. Ambrose several years ago. He's having a great year. They went 4-8 and 5-7 the last 2 years. They're 7-4. They're doing it with some Quad City standouts as well. Two Van Wetzingas are on the team as well, Rusty and Joey as well. And they have a chance. They're still alive to play in the MAC championship game. They're going to go to a bowl game. He's doing an amazing job. And by the way, he just had another kid. His wife just had another kid. So congratulations to that. That happened around Halloween. I think it might have been Halloween day that the baby was born. So congratulations once again to Matt Drinkle and Central Michigan. I'm going to keep talking about him. Matt's been on the show. He's an amazing dude and obviously a really good football coach as well. And congratulations to the Chippewas. And we'll keep an eye on where Matt Drinkle's career may go. Obviously happy and doing great things at Central Michigan. I know that's his focus for right now, but really good start to his Division I head coaching career this season with the Chippewas. Well, we'll go from football to basketball, and it was a really good basketball game last night at the UC. It was Illinois and Alabama going head-to-head with Illinois coming up just a little bit short. And joining me now to talk all about a really good, high-quality basketball game last night at the United Center, our good friend Kedric Prince. Does that mean, Ked, you were up late last night? I'm assuming That game didn't get done any earlier, did it?
No, it started 15, 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
And when the game was over, I had to do work. I had to do another podcast. So I'm tired. I'm not getting any younger. It's not any easier, my friend.
You know what? You can look forward to maybe a little quieter weekend, hopefully. Let's take a look at this game because obviously Illinois falls short, 90-86, the final score. And I mentioned kind of the same way we had with Texas Tech. It was a high-quality basketball game. You looked out there, Ked, in my opinion, you saw two teams that can play in an Elite Eight, play in a Final Four maybe. Your thoughts overall of the basketball game we watched last night?
I'm going to stay true to myself. I know I have a lot of podcast requests and interviews for radio shows today, and I'm going to say the same thing, a lost opportunity. It's just a missed or lost opportunity. I don't think on paper, Alabama's a better team. Illinois can play with Alabama. To me, they lost one reason and one reason only, the free throw line. They lost. You cannot shoot 59% from the free throw line and expect to win. That is the only reason they lost. They were in the game. You can't miss fronting the one-and-ones. And I would throw a side bet, a side bonus in this parlay leg. You cannot miss the front of the one-on-ones, and you have to get 50-50 balls. They didn't get 50-50 balls. And sometimes luck has to go your way. And here's an example. Last night they had one golden opportunity in the second half to go ahead by 2 when Zonomir Ivisic had a wide-open 3 in the corner. He misses it, then they come down the court and hit a 3. Those are breaks that you don't get. And, good teams do that. And I'm not – for anybody who's disappointed if you're an Illinois fan, I'm really sorry. Then I'm not your guy because you play a very good team. And people have texted me. They're mad at Brad Underwood. They ran good stuff. They played a zone last night that I was in love with because they extended it like 23 feet and made it tough for Alabama to get shots off. They made adjustments. You have to make free throws. I don't care what anybody says to me. They don't say great teams make free throws. They are a great team. They're not good. They are a Final Four type of team to me. Last night you didn't make them. Matt, it's just life. You're a Detroit Lions fan, and sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. And it stinks, but I'm not mad about this one.
Yeah. Ked, am I wrong to think that if you miss the front end of the one-on-one, it should be 0 for 2 from the free throw line because you missed the opportunity to shoot the other one? It drives me crazy because you mentioned I think it was 13-23, which isn't good to begin with, but you missed those front ends and you're leaving an attempt out there. So you can't miss those down the stretch. Some good stuff. And you mentioned some really good stuff that Illinois does. Ked, to me, they look the part, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities before Big Ten play to impress, to pick up signature victories, all those kind of things. They look the part. They're long, they're lanky. Stojakovic, I texted you yesterday and was like, the kid's a stud. Like 11-16, just played really well. A lot of good to take out of it. I know moral victories aren't the thing, but you can look out there and see where this team could eventually get to.
Yes. The other part of my little parlay leg I'm going to throw out there, you had Thomas Ivisic, who was 40%. You hung with one of the best teams in the country. He had 3 points. He was not effective. He's one of the best shooting centers in all of college basketball. Petrovic played his first game since the entire season. He's practiced 3 times in 40 days. That's something that you have to look forward to. You have to get them healthy. And I understand every team has injuries. It's a part of sports. But if you want to take the whole sum of this team, you're missing pieces. So, Matt, they are good. So, Stojakovic is exactly what I thought. And, I'm not going to sit and pretend that and be politically correct on this statement. He hurt them at the free throw line. This kid is a 75% free throw shooter. And he walks up there. He was, I believe, 2 for 5 last night or something like that. And you made the comment to me, for those who don't know, I used to coach high school basketball. I'd always tell my players, you miss the front end of a one-on-one, that's a turnover. Because you had an opportunity to miss. Yeah. You're wide open, and then you come on the court. And like I said to you, they scored on it. And let's give credit to Alabama. They're a good team. They are a really good team. They're guard-driven. Their guards are really, really good. Again, I like the defense that Illinois extended. I think they got complacent because they didn't get some of those long rebounds, and people are like, block out. You can block out in the zone, but when you shoot threes from 25 feet, 9 times out of 10, the ball is going to be long. It's not going to be short. And they didn't get those opportunities. Those are 50-50 balls. So, they're going to have other opportunities. This one they let slip away because going to UConn is not going to be easy in New York. You have to go to Tennessee and you have Arkansas on a neutral court. I was saying to myself, if they won this game, I didn't care what they did the rest of the non-conference season. Didn't matter to me.
Yeah, I thought this was one, when you look at those 4 that are left, obviously they already got Texas Tech that was in Champaign. This was one of those games that you felt like you wanted to get because of the locations of the other games and where they're at coming up. Petrovic didn't play a lot, 12 minutes, 5 assists in limited time. What have you seen from him so far? I know it's such a small sample size and he's trying to get back to where he wants to be. How big of an impact can he have eventually when he's fully healthy and ready to go?
I will say this. I said this on one of my podcasts last night. The secret's out of the bag now. Everybody will tell you, and hopefully we have a lot of people listen to your show, Matt. Here, he is as good as Braden Smith, except for he's not as good a shooter, and that's been said by a lot of professional people, a lot of college coaches. The kid is good. He is really, really good. Coming into the season, before any games being played, I thought he was going to be the starting guard next to Kylan Boswell. And I think the Illinois coaches thought the same thing, except for Keaton Wagler has surprised everybody in the country. The kid is good. And you saw a small sample size of what he could be. He didn't look to score. He's older. I mean, he's 22 years old, I believe. So point being, you didn't see a lot of nerves from him. You didn't see him come in the game and turn the ball over. And they put him in at crucial situations because Boswell was in foul trouble. So once he's healthy and you can see him really get him on the court, you're really going to see how fast he is. He loves to push the ball. He's a really good offensive player, another piece that they're missing. So I like what he did last night. He came in and hit the 3, and I think that surprised people. And his passing is really good. I mean, that's one of his fortes, which is why I mentioned Braden Smith, because I think Braden is a really good passer for Purdue.
Kedric Prince joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. Ked, you look at that backcourt when you have Stojakovic, and I think one of the most underrated players, especially guards, in the Big Ten is Kylan Boswell, and he was really good at the end of last year. He was good last year, but towards the end of last year, he was really good. He's picked up right where he left off. That backcourt by itself, Ked, I know you throw in other people as well. Is Boswell the most slept-on player in the Big Ten? Because I don't feel like he gets the love he should probably get. You look at his line, played 33 minutes, scored 22 points, had 7 assists, grabbed 4 rebounds. I mean, he did something, a little bit of everything throughout the evening.
I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I did an article on him Monday. It's on the top of my Twitter page. And I'm saying it because you asked the question, and I agree with it. In my article, I mentioned that because he's a forgotten man. And one of the things, I'll give you a tease with it, his dad made the comment to me. He was like, people need to understand, my son spent 2 years at Arizona trying to learn the game, and then he's playing with guys that can barely speak English. Then he comes to Illinois 2 years later, and then he's playing with Kasparis and Tomislav. This year, he's playing with Tomislav and his brother, and you got Andre, you got Milo, you got David. So he's been through a lot, and he's performing. And it's so easy to forget about a kid like him, and I don't understand it. When you mention them on other shows, from a national standpoint, they look at you like you're crazy, and I don't understand that because he produces. Last night, he was great. I mean, he missed a crucial free throw toward the end, and the thing I really like about him that people don't understand as well, he logs a lot of minutes. Out of all the players on that team last year and this year, he gets about 37, 38 minutes a game, and I think some of that's fatigue, but down the stretch yesterday, he was tough. He demanded the ball. He played like a senior. And here's the secret. He's only 20 years old. He's a senior. He doesn't turn 21 until next April.
You look at this team, Ken, where first off, toot your horn whenever you want. My platform is for you to toot away, my friend. So keep tooting. Because you know what? If you get one wrong, they tell you all about it, right? You know?
Oh, trust me. You know I know.
So when you get it one right, toot away. Where's your concern with this basketball team, big picture? If there is a weakness, if there is something that concerns you moving forward. I mean, health is something you can't control. Free throw shooting is something that I don't think is a long-term thing. I wouldn't think.
It's not.
Where are your concerns as you get ready for the UConn's, Mizzou, and then obviously the Big Ten schedule?
Man, I'm really sorry. I don't have any. I don't. I think that I'm sorry. That's strange to say. They're good at everything. They can defend. They can rebound. They can shoot the three ball well. They run a good two-man game. I just think they're one of the best teams in the country, and I'm not going to sit here just to give an answer to be making something up because you asked a question. They let an opportunity slip away last night. Think about what I said. You said they shot 59% from the free throw line, and they didn't play. And then you got nothing from your best, arguably your second best player or number one player in Thomas Law. What is there to complain about? I mean, they let one slip away, and it happened. So I don't think there's any weaknesses. I think this is personally, including Iowa and Kofi's team, I think this is Brad Underwood's best team because there are some weapons on the team. Andre Stojakovic, that didn't surprise me. I was upset when the All-Big Ten preseason team came out and he was left off of it. And I made that clear. And last night you saw why I was upset. The kid is a 20-point game proven scorer. And that dunk last night shocked the world. It's all over Twitter. And the guy has NBA genes. It's in his genes. His father is a stud. I can tell you the fans, his dad won't be happy about those free throws. I've already heard rumblings about it because he's a good player. And if you're going to be the man, you have to walk up to the line and you have to make shots.
Yeah, Ked, I knew he was good, so I'm not surprised. But it's always seeing is believing. We don't see him enough. I didn't stay up late enough out in Cal to see it. And again, hey, this person's coming to Iowa. This person's coming to Illinois. You click on a link and you're going to see their highlights. So I wanted to see it in context of the game. And man, he just does a little bit of everything. Defensively, he's really good as well. Your schedule turns into Iowa's where they play a bunch of cupcakes or a couple cupcakes. And then is it Black Friday for UConn? 11:30 a.m. out at Madison Square Garden. I don't want to skip over the other two, but we're going to skip over the other two.
Sure.
UConn's really good. To go to Madison Square Garden, I want to start with the brand, Ked. The brand, it gets a chance to be seen on a national level at Madison Square Garden. Your thoughts on that game and maybe just the opportunity to have Illinois in the Big Apple at Madison Square Garden on the biggest stage of them all?
Well, I'm going to be a homer here. The brand was in Chicago last night.
Yeah.
Chicago is it's Chicago, it's New York, it's California. Those are the bigs. Those are the heavies. Philadelphia. I get that. When you have a chance to go to play UConn, there's a lot of motivation because they got beat at home to Arizona. So there's going to be some really, really upset and some teachable moments for UConn. You don't think Brad Underwood is going to be upset and use last night as teachable moments? So you're going to see a war. I think the advantage is to UConn because they're up in New York. And like I said, Illinois let one slip away last night. That game is going to be tough. I think Illinois is going to come out and they're going to prove that they belong. You mentioned the national brand. They are. Illinois is there. They were ranked 8th in the country. I did a podcast on one of my podcasts a couple weeks ago in Orlando, and Tiga was my guest, Illinois assistant basketball coach. And he talked to me about when they go over to different countries, when they have that orange shirt on or that vest on, people are chanting, Kofi, Io, Kasparis. They know. They are a national brand, not just in the United States. That's why they have so much success going overseas now, because they get their better players and they're succeeding. You look at Will Riley, who's from Canada, but point being, Illinois is there. They're on the map, and 10 years ago, Illinois couldn't get a game against Alabama. They weren't good enough. They couldn't get a home against Tennessee. They weren't good enough. Brad Underwood put the program in a situation now where they can play some of the best teams in the country, and he doesn't duck anybody. This is an opportunity for them to learn to get better, and I really do think they're going to figure it out. And you're right, injuries are part of it, but I just want to see them 1 or 2 games when they're healthy because they're going to punish people when they are.
Kedric Prince joining me right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. I'm going to get you out of here on time. I got a little bit more with you. big picture for the Big Ten. I think last time you were on here, you said Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten. Power rankings. I know they change and all those kind of things, but with what we've seen, I think I saw Andy Katz the other day had like Purdue 1, Michigan 2, Illinois 3. I don't buy the Michigan stuff just yet. I think they're talented, but like body of work, I haven't been overly impressed. And I watched them against TCU most of the night because of watching Brock Harding. Where is the power rankings in the Big Ten in your mind right now? November 20th, 21st, whatever today is. What's the power rankings in Ked's mind when it comes to the Big Ten?
I'm going to give Purdue the edge because they went to Alabama and won. Illinois does have Texas Tech under their hat. It was at home. I think Purdue number 1, Illinois number 2, Michigan number 3, and probably UCLA after that. No, I'll take that back. I said Michigan State, then UCLA. And I'm not going to go on all the teams, but yeah.
Michigan State just put one on Kentucky the other night, didn't they?
Yes, they did. But you know what? Here's the deal. I talk about having luck and 50-50 balls. Michigan State might not shoot like that for the rest of the year, and I don't think Kentucky can shoot any worse. But guess what? In the win and loss column, it doesn't show that. It just shows that they were a better team because they shot the snot out of the ball last night. So I think Illinois, if they would have won last night, I would have put them on top of Purdue. I really would have, just because of the size advantage and because of the depth. But they did go to Alabama, and they did win at Alabama. And on a neutral court, Illinois lost to them. So Illinois still is second to me. I'm not. It stinks, but I'm not going to sit and think, oh my gosh, you're throwing the towel. And a lot of fans are saying, Brad Underwood can't win the big one. He can't execute. There's been games where they've made a lot of mistakes. In my personal opinion, last night that wasn't it. Yeah, that was on the players last night. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't see anything like it's funny because Illinois is kind of the same way as Iowa is with football. Sometimes maybe Illinois has had a little more national success at points, but what are you complaining about? The guy just goes out and wins 20 to 25 games every year, sometimes 30. I mean, I wouldn't get too cranky. How good is the Big Ten? I talked with Jake Brend, who's a Big 12 guy, and the upper part of that Big 12, when you start naming some teams, that maybe top 6 there, impressive. How good is the Big Ten as a whole this year? And I think it's better than people think. I think early on they've shown well nationally. How good's the Big Ten?
I saw a statistic. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think the Big Ten has more top 10 wins of any conference in college basketball. The last year, I have to give it to the SEC. I thought they were better. This year, I don't. I really do think the Big Ten is better from top to bottom. I mean, I had a coworker mention to me yesterday. He's an Iowa fan, and the first thing he said to me was, "It stinks that Iowa's in the Big Ten this year." And I said, "Why?" Any other year, they would be competing in the top 3 or 4 or 5 in the conference because they are better. He was like, but there's no way they're going to go in and you're going to beat Michigan State, Illinois, and Purdue, and Michigan, and UCLA because those teams, you might beat them, but I'm saying as far as the power rankings are concerned, it stinks because it is good. And, I mean, I feel bad for Iowa, and I hadn't even mentioned Wisconsin, and they're one of the best teams. So the coaching has gotten a lot better. Indiana's another team that's really improved. So when you think about the conference right now, and I mean, Brad Underwood always mentions this, you have to bring it every day and every night. And Northwestern, that used to be a cakewalk. That's not a cakewalk anymore. So to answer your question, it's tough. It really is. I think it's the best conference. And when you look at who they're playing, like when Purdue went on the road and won, Alabama, Illinois beat Texas Tech, and Michigan State beat Kentucky, those are big wins, no matter how you look at it and what people want to perceive the Big Ten. I know they haven't won a national title since 2000. I think there's 2 teams in the Big Ten that could get to the Final Four. I do think Illinois and Purdue, and maybe Michigan, they have a legitimate shot. If you get the right seed, win those 50-50 balls, those 3 teams, especially Illinois and Purdue, I think they have a good shot at going to the Final Four.
I got about 3 minutes left with you. Football wise, so we do Nest Gas, the old pick'em contest from the Rock Island Argus and Dispatch with Mark Nessler. I had to pick Wisconsin this week because I'm down like 12 points to him, and the loser takes a pie in the face. So I'm just trying to play catch up. So I did take Wisconsin at home at night. Is there any way that's correct? Are you worried about this game, Brett Bielema going back home, night game? Is there any concern on your part when it comes to Illinois, Wisconsin this week?
Yes, and more yes. I am. Wisconsin is playing for everything. We can pretend that the Wisconsin and Illinois thing doesn't matter because Brett Bielema coached at Wisconsin. It does.
Mm-hmm.
It's a night game, and Wisconsin is physical as hell. They are. And so it's not going to be 75 degrees. It's probably going to be 39 or 40 degrees. And yes, Wisconsin's playing in the same environment. Illinois is in the Midwest as well. I think now on the schedule, and I'm going to tell you, I don't think Northwestern's going to be easy either. These teams are fighting for everything, and Illinois, the defense has improved. Wisconsin has a really good defense. They really do. I don't think they score enough points. The key to the game to me is how well Andrew Henry, he's done really well. He's made some good adjustments since the Washington game. You hold a good Rutgers team from not scoring. Maryland is struggling, but they average 25 points a game. Defense, keep them off the field, and offense has to do just enough to win. But I don't think it's going to be easy, and I'm definitely concerned about it.
Yeah, it's funny because talking heads like myself have been like, oh, they're going to win out and they're going to be 9-3. It was almost like a foregone conclusion. And it's like kind of looking at what's left. It's like there's some sneaky tough games. I do think they get the job done, but I have to try to catch up with Ness. And Keelan has done well in the Ness guests. He's been second a few times. Tell him to be a little bit better and he can get some hungry hobo. So work on that a little bit. Ken, I appreciate you. If you guys are wanting Illinois content today, if you go to a podcasting platform and put in Illini, I bet you Ken pops up like 4 times. So that's a beautiful thing. I always appreciate your time. Be well, and we'll catch up again real soon. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. That is Kedric Prince joining us here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and always gracious with his time to do so. Illinois comes up just short, almost. And it's like, I know it's like what ifs, but really close to 2 signature victories before Thanksgiving when it comes to college basketball. They bounce back. They'll have 2 regular games. I think it's Long Island and Texas, something else, maybe El Paso. And then they go to Madison Square Garden. Everyone thinks football with Thanksgiving, and I get that, but there's a ton of college basketball. Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Wednesday, all that kind of stuff. Feast week will be here before we know it. Thanks to Ked for joining us, and we got much more to get to. Tom Kakert's next right here on OTA.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. It's a busy time in Iowa City, and we've been talking a lot of Hawkeyes, and rightfully so. Men's basketball has 2 games this week. Women's basketball play tonight against a really good Baylor team, and the football team has their senior day coming up. And we've talked to some really good guests about the Iowa Hawkeyes when it comes to Tyler Tashman and Pat Angerer. Friday we had John Bonenkamp. Kyle Huseman's been on. It's been the best of the best in the world of Hawkeye athletics. And then there's this guy.
Now you're slumming.
Tom Kakert joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.
Yeah.
How are you, my friend?
Doing all right.
Are you sure?
All right.
You seem kind of tired.
Well, I'm always tired. It's a busy time of year, man. It's crossover season. We've got I had to do a speaking engagement with Pat Angerer on Monday.
Who was the
Wednesday
headliner?
night.
Who is the headliner there? Is it Tom Kakert and like Pat's opening for you, or is it flip it?
Yeah, Pat opened for me.
And who was more? Because I've done that recently. I had a Rotary Club outing to do, and I opened, I think, for Pat a little bit. But hey, I'll take it. Anytime I can get on the card with Pat Angerer, I think I'm doing pretty good. And then QC quarterback club outing or whatever last night.
Yeah, that was fun. A lot of fans of Joe Conklin there. As always. So yeah, good times.
Just the normal message we get from people. Joe Conklin is king. We won't talk Joe Conklin. We'll talk Iowa athletics. And I think I want to start with the big game tonight, and that's the Iowa women. I know there's a home game with the men, but Chicago State, we'll talk about them in a second. It's the women's first challenge of the season. And it's funny, Tom, because yes, they haven't been challenged too much, but before we get to Baylor, I've been impressed with the last week. I don't think Drake is a bad basketball team. They beat him by 42, and then they took care of business. They didn't play their best, and they beat Northern Iowa, who's down. But your thoughts of the in-state week when it came to Drake and Northern Iowa for the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, I thought they took care of business, and they played well against 2 programs that have traditionally kind of sometimes given them some trouble. So you go out, you take care of business. I think in the next week we're going to find out a lot about both the men's and the women's teams. The women with going up against number 7 Baylor, going against a really talented Miami, Florida team, and then the men next Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday against Ole Miss, and then Wednesday against Utah or Grand Canyon. They're going to get a good test from both those games. So I think the next week we kind of get a picture of where things stand. And I think Jan and probably Ben McCollum will be kind of happy to gather some more information about their teams.
You're exactly right. Both teams playing a lot of players right now. Let's start with the women because it's funny because I didn't know how much Journey Houston would play as a freshman, and I don't know how much she'll continue to play, but she's made the most of her minutes early on, and it's been, a deep bench for both the men and the women. Let's start with the women. I think you eventually, probably tomorrow night, see that rotation kind of shorten up a little bit. How do you see it as we get ready for a huge game, number 7, I believe, Baylor tonight down in Orlando?
Yeah, Journey Houston's been a real nice surprise because I don't know that we kind of penciled her in for a lot of minutes this year. And she has earned the right to get more minutes. She really has. She's been very forceful on the glass. She's been smart with the basketball, low turnover numbers, effective scorer for her size in the post. She's been a real bright spot, I think, and played her way into being part of, an eight player rotation at this point. So I'm anxious to see just how this women's team looks against Baylor, because I think they're pretty good, and maybe they surprise some people in this game. But they've got to shoot the ball well. I think that's one of the things that's going to define whether they win the game or not, is especially outside shooting, because that's kind of one of the big question marks with the women's team this year, is how well can they consistently shoot from the outside. And we'll find out, because Baylor's got some size and some athleticism in the post. So I think it's going to be a good test.
I've loved watching Journey Houston play basketball for the past 4 seasons at Davenport North and now at Iowa. And you look at it, Tom, and she just does a little bit of everything. She makes the most of her minutes. She doesn't have to score. And sometimes on a team like this that has plenty of people that can shoot the basketball, put the ball in the hole, you need people, role players like that can do a little bit of everything. When you look at this game tonight, Baylor, really good basketball team, ranked 7th in the country. What are the keys to Iowa? Like you mentioned, I think Iowa can go down there and beat Baylor and surprise some people. When we were talking to Jake Brendy yesterday, he talked about Iowa State, getting ready to play Drake in women's basketball and what kind of tests they would pose to the Cyclones. I think Iowa's a good basketball team. I think they have size inside, which is something they didn't have in their Final Four runs. I like them tonight a little bit. What are the keys in this game in order for them to kind of surprise some people down in Orlando?
Keep the turnovers down. You can't let them get easy buckets off of turns, and shoot the ball well. You got to value possessions, and if they do those two things, they're going to have a shot to beat them on Thursday night. It's going to be interesting because the men's game is going on. Kind of the men's game's at 6. The women's game's at 8, and I talked to some people Wednesday night, and they're like, "Yeah, we might just bug out at halftime, and so we can get somewhere to watch the women's team and the women's game." So I think a lot of people are probably just gonna, it might be, especially because it's Chicago State that the men are playing on Thursday night. So you just, I'm gonna bug out. I'm gonna go watch the main event, because it may be a 25-point margin at halftime.
Yeah, for the men, absolutely. That's something you kind of expect. And if they were playing a good team, if they were playing, a Power 5 team, you would expect them to maybe stick around. You can't fault them for sneaking out early against a Chicago State team that Iowa should beat. Give me a prediction on Baylor before we talk about the men's team here in a minute.
Boy, so it's out of my comfort zone. I think Iowa's gonna win, but it's a homer pick for me. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll say Iowa wins by 2.
I agree. It should be a good basketball game, and I think Iowa has a good chance of going on down to Orlando and picking up a nice victory. Tom Kakert right now from the Hawkeye Report, joining us on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. Tommy, you were at Carver Hawkeye on Tuesday. Before we look ahead to Chicago State, did you learn much against SEMO when it comes to, and now SEMO gave Missouri all they could handle, but life for SEMO on the road against Power 4, Power 5 teams, and playing on the road every single night, or not every single night, but every time out against good teams can be tough. What'd you learn about the Hawkeyes, if anything, against SEMO on Tuesday?
It's a good question. I don't know that I learned a whole lot more about them, other than they've got good depth, and I think the thing that's impressed me is guys like Brendan Housen and Alvaro Forderas are just happy with their roles, and guys in their situations might be complaining, "Hey, I thought I'd be a starter. Hey, I thought I'd be starting games," and there's a good vibe around this team. Just that they all like each other, they all have respect for each other. There's a commonality to what they hope to accomplish, and I think that's unusual in today's game. So that's one thing that I really took away from it, was just talking to those guys about just Housen's played at Villanova, played at K-State, and he's like, yeah, this is just flat out the best time I've had playing basketball at the college level. And that speaks to the culture that McCollum has established right out of the gate with this program.
No, I would absolutely agree. You look at it too, Tom, and I've been I don't want to say hard on Brendan Hawson because I don't want to cause any trouble, but it just didn't add up to me that he wasn't playing what he was, and it probably came down to the defensive end. I know you guys talked to Ben McCollum after the game, and he said, "Yeah, he was good on defense. I got to go look at the tape, but he sounds good on defense, or he looked good on defense." Played 20 minutes, shot it better. There was a point I watched the game maybe late first half, and it was Fulgaris was out there, Hawson was out there, Bennett was out there, and I can't remember who the other two were, but I kind of envisioned that maybe being the starting lineup to start the season. I know everyone's obsessed with the starting lineup, but I just to not play the way that Hawson has, and then or not play a lot, and then to come in, and I thought that was a big step because I think matchups are going to dictate a lot with this team and who plays and who doesn't. But I think having him shoot the basketball at a high level is going to be a difference maker for the Hawkeyes. Your thoughts on him finally getting some minutes? I know you just talked about him a little bit, but looks like he can be an absolute difference maker. When I think it was Jess Settles who said on the broadcast that he made 48 of 53s in pregame or whatever. Your thoughts on him finally breaking through a little bit and earning, I guess is the right word, some minutes?
Yeah, I think he's carving out his role, and it's coming off the bench shooter. I'm impressed with his effort on the defensive end too. I didn't know that was part of his repertoire, but he has really gotten in a stance. He's getting active. I think he's doing a really good job, and Alvaro is doing a great job too. He's shooting the ball really well. He and Sturts are shooting the ball really well. I want Coop to shoot it more. He's 4 of 7 this season. I think if he can shoot more, then that gives you 3 guys that can really bury 3-pointers. And then you could bring Howson into that mix too. You know who hasn't shot the ball well from the outside is Isaiah Howard, and I know they were hoping that he would really get it going. And he shot 38% during the summer, but he's, I think, 1 of 7 from 3 so far. So he's a guy that I think they would really like to see get it going from deep.
It's funny because everyone is obsessed with the starting lineup. Ben McCollum keeps running the same 5 out there. We had Cooper Koch on our pregame show on Saturday on the Hawkeye Radio Network, and he's like, I'm just happy to be out there. We challenge each other in practice, all of those kind of things. Said all the right things, but I don't think it matters who starts. It matters who finishes when it comes to the Iowa Hawkeyes or who plays games. Do you and Ben kind of alluded to the fact that it'll probably eventually change.
Yeah, hey, Bennett Sturts didn't play 7 minutes.
It's wild.
The other night. It's like, it's wild. It is just wild that he plays so many minutes, and it doesn't matter. He just like, fine.
Tom, he scored 15. He had 15 points. He shot the ball 6 times.
He's so efficient. He gets a lot. He's. I'm really anxious to see the men's team against. Just because I want to see what they're like. I'm so anxious to see them play against higher level competition next week in Palm Springs.
No, I am as well. Chicago State tonight. I'm going to ask you the dumb question. What do we know about Chicago State? It's like the probably worst question I've asked on here, but it's about not getting hurt and then getting ready for Thanksgiving, right?
What do we know about Chicago State? We know that they played Minnesota within 12, and that says more about Minnesota because everybody's like, oh, maybe they're not bad. Maybe they're pretty good. Like, no, that's more about Minnesota not being very good. Minnesota almost lost to Green Bay, the Gottlieb coach team that's not very good. So I just I don't think Minnesota's any good. And at the other games that Chicago State led us like 30 to Paul and like 30 to Butler. Okay. And I think Iowa's probably a little better than both those teams. So I looked at Ken Palm, Take a Drink Wheezy.
OG Wheezy.
And OG Wheezy. So there's 365 teams in Division I basketball. And on Ken Palm, Chicago State's 355.
Wow. Not good. Not good. So should be an easy one. Tickets still available if you want to get up to Carver Hawkeye Arena and watch tonight's game between Chicago State and Iowa. And then, Tommy, it's off for a little bit. They play Wednesday or Thursday out in Palm Springs.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday. So
Tuesday
you're
night
going out
is yes.
Big timer. Yep. So you go Tuesday, Wednesday, come back on Thursday, and then go to...
Fly back on Thursday and go to Lincoln. Thursday and have a game Friday.
Why are you doing this to yourself? Oh, don't feel bad for you. No. You're going to watch Iowa basketball in Palm Springs. Let's not get carried away.
Doing my job.
Yes, exactly. Doing your job at a very high level, young man. We're proud of you. Okay, let's talk some football because it's senior day against Michigan State. We'll talk about the game in a second. Senior day. This is a really interesting group of seniors, guys that have walked before. We have Caden Weegan coming up on the show for the Hawkeye Tailgate show this weekend to already talk to him. And he mentioned he walked last year. You know, there's other guys. I think Logan Jones walked as well. What will this senior class be remembered for?
I think for the really veteran guys, just how they persevered through the COVID years, the COVID situation and getting on campus around then and just having to deal with all the different things and the uncertainty and everything that was going on at that time. I think that's part of their legacy. The success that they've had as a team every year, I think is part of their legacy, and the leadership that they've shown. Guys like Logan Jones. Logan, by the way, semifinalist for the Outland Trophy, which is awesome. Congrats to Logan and for his accomplishments and on and off the field. And I'm sure he's going to be hopefully a first team All-American this year. And if he becomes a consensus All-American, how about this? It would be 6 straight years that Iowa has had a consensus All-American.
Wow. What do you need to get
That's pretty incredible.
What do you need to get your picture up on the side of Kinnick? Is it back to back?
For Kinnick? Yeah. Kinnick, you gotta be consensus All-American in back-to-back years.
Wow. Michigan State is really bad. Iowa's coming off 2 losses. I think it's a get-right game. Explain to me how this isn't a blowout at Kinnick on Saturday, or is it just a blowout at Kinnick on Saturday?
Well, you remember last year when I went up to Michigan State and Aiden Childs just was dealing on him. And if he comes back in this game, they're talking like maybe he'll play a little bit, and he starts wheeling and dealing and running around and making them look like they're in quicksand, then, it's a competitive game. Maybe they've got something left. I just don't know that they have a lot left.
Yeah.
I just don't know. They lost 28-10 last week at home to Penn State. I just don't know. I wonder if they have checked out. That's my... And now they got to go on a road trip and come to Iowa and deal with that. 30-10. That's what I've got.
Yeah,
I got 30-10.
It's interesting because I was up in Michigan in the Detroit area Halloween weekend, and boy, they were done then. I think they lost to Minnesota that weekend, and went up in Minnesota.
They kind of outplayed Minnesota in that game too.
Yeah, no, they did.
Although they gave up a bunch of sacks.
that was the last game I feel like they were super competitive in. That fan base is done already with, is it John Smith? Completely done.
Smith,
They've moved on. 0-7 in conference. What happens up there? I mean, they're probably looking for a new head coach at the end of the year, aren't they?
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know that there's been any for sure indication that they're going to make a change.
But how
about
many
this,
coaches
though?
can they pay at the same time? Because aren't they still paying for the one they just fired a couple years ago?
Tucker?
Yeah.
Mel Tucker? Yeah, probably. How about this, though? They could have had, like, 2 years ago, Kurt Cignetti was on the market, and they could have hired him instead of Jonathan Smith, maybe. Okay. When you think Cignetti would take Michigan State over Indiana,
Yeah.
the
Wow.
money's equal.
So the same year that they signed or they
Yeah.
hired Smith.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's weird, Tom, and that's why you get people that text me and they're like, "It's time for Kirk to go," are just silly. Like, there's no sure. Tom, what did you say when I told you? Not that I told you, but you heard Luke Fickell's going to Wisconsin. What'd you think?
That's a great hire.
Yes, you thought the same thing. Probably, maybe when they hired Smith at Michigan State, and you probably didn't think too much when Cignetti got hired at Indiana, did you?
I didn't think the Smith hire was great, but I was intrigued because he was bringing Childs with him, and I had heard good things about Childs. So I thought, well, it might be interesting. We'll see. Hasn't worked out for him.
Oh,
Cignetti, I just saw his bravado of like, I win Google me, and I'm like, oh, who is this guy? Who does this guy think he is?
yeah.
You know.
And here we are a couple of years later, and he's got his team in the
Google me. Jokes on me.
Yes. No. But that's the thing.
He's good.
Tom, I compare coaching hires sometimes to drafting quarterbacks. It can seem like
Well, look at like your head coach, Dan Campbell. Everybody, he was the butt of jokes for a week.
Yes.
Fighting kneecaps or whatever he was talking about.
Well, I'll say this too,
Now
though,
look at it.
but and I'm not making fun of the Bears. It's not Brad, not Ben Johnson, but who'd you just get rid of? Eberflus. Do you remember his opening press conference?
Terrible.
It was awful. He made up like an acronym for like MAD or something like that, or I can't even remember what it was, but it was one of the dumbest like things I've ever heard. It was like coach speak, and I'm like, wow. Like, so yeah, I mean, you just never know. Again, that's why some Iowa fans drive me crazy when you get the text messages of, oh, it's time to go. Kirk's only going to win 8 games this year. And it's like, man, it's a slippery slope when you go down that other path as well. You mentioned the final score prediction. What has to happen injury wise? What are the updates? What are your thoughts? I know 3 guys beat up on the offensive line. You got TJ Hall in a sling last week. What do we know about who might play, who might sit?
Be surprised if TJ plays just because he was in a sling, and I think he was in a sling this week. So I think it'd be a real surprise if he's out there. You never know, but I'd be surprised. More concerned with Bo Stevens than Dunker and Pieper, just because he had, a concussion that Kirk confirmed on Tuesday that it was below the head. So I'm more doubtful on him just because you just don't know if he's not out there yet. And he hadn't been by Tuesday. He was not out there. I just wonder if he's going to be able to be out there. Because he's got the protocols that you have to pass through, and I doubt that he's passed through them at this point.
Last one. What was the vibe of the
Leighton Jones? Hey, Leighton Jones will do a great job if he's in there.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Vibe of the team? What they feel like? What they sound like? You were out at USC. You talked to him after that game. I know the whole mantra is turn the page and get ready for the next opportunity. Did you feel not frustration, but like, eagerness to get out there and get back on the winning ways? What was the vibe of the team, if that's even a thing? Maybe I'm overthinking things.
Yeah, I think there's some disappointment, just what might have been this year.
Yeah.
And I think that started to sink in a little bit. Just like, boy, Weegan wears the right shoes. Bernowski doesn't get hurt against Indiana. It's just boom, boom, boom. All these different things go through your head. If Weegan's foot comes down just a couple centimeters more in the field on that catch on Saturday, you never know.
Or the catch against,
you just never know. Or
the catch against Oregon for the 2-point conversion, if that comes in, a few inches the other way. But Pat Anger was on Monday. That kind of stuff's participation trophy kind of stuff. Like, it is what it is. No more lost 4 games by 15 points, all those kind of things. The bottom line is they lost those games, and they got to move on, and they got to play Michigan State. All right, before I let you go, Tommy, I got to give you the floor. Your first place Chicago Bears. Go ahead.
All alone. First place Chicago Bears.
Your first place Chicago Bears. Thoughts? Go on.
I really hope Aaron Rodgers plays this weekend.
Ooh. Why?
It's time. It's time.
He's not wearing a Green Bay helmet anymore. It has nothing to do with the Packers.
Doesn't matter. He's still Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think you want him to play because you're really good at beating bad quarterbacks. Stick with the bad quarterback thing. Like, it's a lot easier in the league. You're really good. Hey, the Bears are really good at barely beating bad teams. They are.
Hey.
That's it.
7-3.
Hey, bottom line is 7-3. Did you what are your thoughts on, like, because it's Philly, it's Green Bay, Philly, Green Bay, something like that.
Yeah, it's there's a tough stretch there because those back-to-back road games at Philly on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And it's probably good that I'll be covering the Nebraska game then, so I won't be distracted by that game. Although I'll be mad if they win.
People aren't going to, and this sounds dumb wearing this logo on me, Philly's defense is outstanding. Their offense leaves a lot to be desired. But I'll say this. They didn't look good against the Packers defense. I think that's a really good defense at Lambeau Field. And they didn't look good against the Lions defense. And rankings-wise, they're a top 10, top 5 defense. So I don't know if the Bears are in that category when it comes to defenses, but I'm not trying to be mean. What are your expectations? Have they changed? Because you were smart. You're like, hey, you're away. Let's see what happens. Are you starting to like, okay, like I'm all in? Are you starting to push the chips a little more in the center?
So it's exciting. It's I love teams like this that kind of maybe a year ahead of time, like the Cubs kind of busted onto the scene in a bigger way, maybe a year before they were ready to make a bigger march. And that's the great thing about the NFL is you can kind of come out of nowhere and end up being great. You can have a great season.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes on being great. Like, I don't think this is a great football team anywhere. I
didn't say they were a great football team, but you can have a great season.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But here's the scary part is when you have and that's the NFL.
Fun when a team.
That's the NFL.
It's fun when a team kind of just gets good all of a sudden and just has some fun and wins football games. It's enjoyable as a fan. But
make sure it's got staying power. Make sure it can last and survive and continue. It's not just like, man, like we had a great run against a 4th place schedule and barely beat a bunch of bad teams, and then flip it around next year you have a tougher schedule and
have a 1st place schedule because you win the division.
Maybe. I've already been told, Tommy. I've already been told by like so many people on on social media that they're winning. Like, if you lead the division on November 20th, then you win the division. Like, it's over. I was also told the Packers had won the division after week 1, so it's weird that 2 teams have won the division in the same year. It's just a wild, crazy thing. No, hey, the Lions' schedule is.
Do you miss Ben Johnson?
Yeah, of course. I said that from the jump. Anybody would. It'd be silly to say they didn't, but I'd rather have the players than the coach. Because the offense still, I think, leads the league in the NFL in scoring. It's either first or second. And they lead the league in, like, points per game and yardage. They're top indoors, 5 in all those. Right? Well, they're indoors.
As long as they're indoors.
They don't play another game outside until Chicago week 18.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And that whole thing's crazy because they already went to Cincinnati and won outdoors. They won at Baltimore outdoors a few years ago. They went. They haven't lost. They haven't lost at Lambeau.
What's Cincinnati?
They haven't lost at Lambeau.
What's Cincinnati?
Ravens are pretty good, right? Especially, I mean, they beat you guys, but they beat the best team in football by 2 touchdowns. And you guys lost to them with who was quarterback? Tyler, I can't remember. Tony Huntley from St. Ambrose was their quarterback. We beat him with Lamar on a Monday night. Snoop Huntley. No relation to Snoop's chips and salsa. No, it's awesome. I'm excited because, like, for so long I've been told by Bears fans they don't care. So everybody cares again, and it's cute. It's fun. I'm excited for it. I wish people would I want them to engage on social media with me. I'll tell you the one thing. I am concerned about week 18. I'm very concerned because Dan laid it on and then continued to lay it on and then continued to lay it on and then ran up the score. And karma sometimes can be a you-know-what. So I'm a little concerned by that. In the same breath, I don't think the Bears are that good. So hopefully that doesn't. They're an average football. They're better than last year. Thing is, all they are is what you wanted them to be. You wanted them to be improved. And Ben Johnson did, and again, real quick, and we'll wrap up. Once again, I'm right about the Bears. I told people from the jump, Ben Johnson's a good coach, and he will change the running game and not Caleb Williams. That the biggest impact he'll have on the Bears is running the football, and that's exactly what he's done. They run the football, they win the turnover battle, and the quarterback is average as average can be, and they win games. It's not a bad recipe, but that's what happened.
Caleb's getting better.
Just say, Dazzo, you were right. You're always right about the Bears. You're right about Mitch. You're right about, what's his name? Justin Fields, Hall of Fame Fields. You're right about him. You're always right, Dazzo. Tommy, I love you. What are you, tell people about the Hawkeye Report real fast, because I know Kyle's working really hard. You are, wrestling's going on as well. Talk about what you guys are doing at the site, because it is the busiest time of the year. It's crazy.
Yeah, we've been super busy, and Kyle's going to be super busy with, he'll be handling women's stuff this week, and, have coverage of the Baylor game and Miami, Florida, write-ups on both those games. I'll have football, covering the men's team. Kyle will be handling football during the week next week. Tanner's got wrestling stuff that he'll be doing. So we've got a lot going on. It's a busy time of year.
Well, Tommy, get your rest. People should check out the Hawkeye Report.
I need rest. I'm old.
I'm
old. I need
I'm
my
afraid
rest.
if you rest, you may rest permanently, which we don't want to see that happen at all. So I appreciate you hopping on.
There's some who would. There's some who would like to see that.
I can't fathom. I can't think of one person. Maybe anger?
I can.
I just, you know what I want before all's said and done, Tom? Just you and me talking. Nobody else is listening. What's it take to win Employee of the Week?
Lose luggage?
I could do that. I can try. I don't know. It's been a funny year. I don't need to win anything. It's all for, I'm just happy to be part of the team. So, Tommy, get out of here. We'll talk to you again real soon.
There's a special presentation this week, I've been told.
I don't like the fact that you spent what 2 hours in a car with Pat on Monday.
Oh, longer than that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just feel like, although I spent some time with him doing some stuff for the shootout, the Mississippi Valley Credit Union shootout as well. So anyways, Tommy, get out of here. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
That is the great Tom Kakert joining us here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A lot to talk about, and it's one of those times of year where beat writers all over the place when it comes to the Illini, Iowa State. We talked about it with Jake Brend yesterday as well. It's a tough time of year. You're covering 4 sports all at the same time, if not more. I mean, at Iowa, you have soccer going. Last weekend, field hockey was still going on. So these guys are working really hard. So make sure you check out their stuff. And I know so many people tell me like, oh, I went to read this article, but there was a paywall. Exactly. They're working hard. They need some money. So like pay them for their hard work. And it's not a lot either. Just it's well worth it. I get it, but it's well worth it. We got more to get to. We're just getting warmed up. It's an Off the Air on a Thursday. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? That fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Everyone talking about the first place Chicago Bears these days. I'm wearing my Lions sweatshirt today for no other reason than it's a comfy sweatshirt. I like it. I just got it when I was in Detroit about a month ago. But Bears fever in full swing. I'm reminded every single day from somebody that the Bears are in first place. But how good are the Chicago Bears? I figured, somebody who would know is my good friend, Chicago guru expert, Larry Hawley, joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Larry, how are you, my friend?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's a busy time of year, but it's a fun time of year. There's no shortage of content on days like today, and the Bears are. And I want to talk to you at the end about Illinois. You were at the United Center last night, so we're going to get to that in a second. But the Chicago Bears are 7-3 in first place. If I told you that in August when we chatted one of those times, would you have believed me, not believed me? Your thoughts on 7-3 first and foremost?
I probably would have. I mean, it's going to sound silly. I would probably be a little surprised. I would probably, in my mind, I remember, Matt, we were talking before the season. We actually ran down the schedule. If the Bears had a chance to win games, it was early. So I would have thought probably the best case scenario came true. It's a bit of a surprise because, probably my record, looking at that schedule, I thought they'd be around 5 to 6 wins. And then the second half was going to be, kind of a struggle, because that schedule is really tough. But they really have surprised. They've been clutch late. They've done some great things in the final minutes. And here they are at 7-3 playing, and will play meaningful football till the end of the year. So it's been pretty cool around here to see. I think Bears fans have waited for any excitement.
Yeah.
And so to see them in this position, a surprise, yes, for me, it's the absolute best case scenario working out.
It's funny because I think I read someplace, and I don't want to misquote it, but it was been since like 2019 that they've been in first place this late in the season by themselves. It doesn't seem like that's right, but it probably is. What's that city like right now? What's Bears Nation like right now? Because I tell them all the time, and we can get into, and we will, how good are they? What's good? What's barely beating bad? All those kind of things in a second. Bottom line is they're in first place at 7-3, and I tell every Bears fan I know, enjoy it, because I am a Lions fan. I know what misery is like. So when you have something good, enjoy it. What's that city like right now? What's that fan base like right now?
Well, there's a lot of excitement. I think that there's even maybe an acknowledgement from Bears fans that, hey, this team, sorry about that, I think there's an acknowledgement from Bears fans that they're just enjoying this moment. I don't think there's a thought, oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going all the way. There's a thought that the Bears are entertaining. The Bears are going to play meaningful football all the way till the end of January. And they've got a shot at the playoffs for a team that really hasn't done much of anything since 2018. I know they made the playoffs in 2020, but that was a spooky year where they had a lot of weird winning streaks and got in on a loss. So there's a lot of people, including myself, who forget they made the playoffs in 2020. So there's a lot of excitement, but it's not an excitement of people are going, oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Oh my God, we're going to do this. There's an excitement that the Bears are fun. Yeah. You see Caleb Williams performing at critical times. You see some good moves by Ben Johnson, and there's general positivity about the Bears. And frankly, you really haven't had that since probably late in the 2018 season and maybe some of the 2019 season before things kind of got away.
Larry Hawley joining us right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. A simple question. Are the Bears a great team, a good team, or an average team that's beating bad teams? Your thoughts?
I think that I think they're somewhere. They're not a great team. I think they're a good team. Opportunistic is a word that comes up for this Bears team because they've won a lot of games late. They've made a lot of critical plays when they've had to. And right now, that's good enough. Is that going to be good enough when you face the Pittsburghs or the Green Bays or when they get Detroit again? That's kind of to be seen. But right now, they're an opportunistic team that are beating teams like them. I think the Vikings are a team right now that's meddling a little bit, and they're in the middle trying to figure themselves out. That's a game. I always said sometimes in the NFL, the key between a winning season and a losing season is winning those games against like opponents. And the Bears are doing that.
Yeah.
So you're ending up winning these games against teams that are in their situation. Suddenly, instead of, having 4 wins, you have 7 wins. And suddenly, instead of probably being on the outlier of the playoff line, you're approaching the playoff line. And I think that's where they are. I think this is a good team that's opportunistic. They're not a great team. Are they beating some bad teams along the way? Sure. Yeah, they've done that. But they've also scored some good wins that have really, I think, built a little confidence in the team amongst themselves and certainly in the fan base. Again, a lot of enjoyment. I think people think this is a good team. Do they think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. But do they think they could provide some excitement for the next couple months? Absolutely.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Larry Hawley, excuse me, joining us now and off the air. Larry, you look at it, and this isn't, people know I don't like the Bears, so I have to phrase these questions carefully so I don't look like a hater. What's the Bears' best victory this season in your mind?
That's a good one. I'm going to go with right now probably the Cincinnati win. I think if they don't get that win, that's one of the games you looked at that you might have chalked up to the win category pretty early. The Ravens you could have put into that, but the Ravens are still the Ravens. It's a team that's been together a while. They've been successful. Even at 1-5, they can find a way to do that. But if you lose to Cincinnati and you have that game against the team you should beat, and you had the 5 or 6 ways you could have dropped it, I think that could have had a major negative effect. But I think to come back and win it the way they did, it certainly was not a great defensive performance. But to have, I really think having Caleb have that moment, having Colston Loveland have that moment, I think meant something, because this is a city and a town that has waited for a great Bears offense, not for years, not for decades. Really, you're talking generations.
Yeah.
And you saw on that day, Caleb Williams have a really special moment, and Loveland have a special moment, and Kyle Monangai have a few special moments. Are the Bengals a great defense? By no means, but they made the plays and got it done, and frankly pulled out a win that looked like a loss about 5 times. In my mind, I think that even though that wasn't against a great team, even though on defense it wasn't even a great performance, but the way they pulled it off and who pulled it off, I think may have turned things a little bit for this season and put them on a trajectory where now you can talk about the playoffs.
Yeah.
To me, I guess in my mind, that's where it sits.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. And I always say with young quarterbacks, you don't need consistency. You don't need it's about having those flashes. I'll use an example for my Lions. When Matthew Stafford was a rookie, he wasn't great. He made plenty of mistakes, but he had that come from behind victory against Cleveland. He separated his shoulder, came back in, threw a touchdown. And that was the moment. And like for Caleb to lead teams to victories, whether it's on kick returns late in games or, like in Cincinnati where he led a drive for a touchdown, you have to give him credit for that. The overall, there's things you can pick and say, I don't like this or he's not doing great here, but big picture wise, he's giving you those moments. Pittsburgh comes to town this week, and I've had several Bears fans, including Tom Kakert was on the show a little bit ago, say that they want Aaron Rodgers to play. As a non-Bears fan that would just look at the situation, if I was a Bears fan, I would not want Aaron Rodgers to play because I think the Bears are doing a good job beating bad quarterbacks, and Mason Rudolph is a bad quarterback. But the Bears' thought process for some is they want to dispel the demons that is Aaron Rodgers. Is that still a thing? Do you want to see Aaron Rodgers trot on the field against the Bears on Sunday, or do you want to see a journeyman backup quarterback that's quite frankly not very good?
I think if you're a Bears fan, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. You just don't. It's just that simple. I think if you're the Bears, you don't want to. You don't want to see Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The guy's had incredible success against them. He's an MVP. He's a veteran of the league with a very, very consistent team behind him. You don't want to see him, especially when we're looking at now. In my mind, the playoff line to get in is probably 10 wins. Probably 10 wins. You want all the wins that you can get. And you want all the chances you can get. Because you look at the end of the schedule, the one team on there that you might look at and go, oh, wow, that's beatable, is Cleveland. Other than that, it's a tough schedule. No, you don't want to face Aaron Rodgers. But I get the challenge of wanting to defeat him. You want to go up against this, as we all do in any industry we do. You want to face the best. But from a pure statistical standpoint, no. You want to face Mason Rudolph. Absolutely not. But do the Bears want the challenge to face Rodgers and defeat him? I wouldn't be surprised. No competitor would probably ever say that, but it would certainly help if the Bears didn't have to face him, especially when you're looking at getting and accumulating those wins that can get you into the postseason.
I pulled up the schedule. I want to go through the schedule with you and kind of give me your thought process as we go through. I've done this a few times throughout the year. Pittsburgh this week. And we looked, what is it, Thursday morning? We're not going to know till Sunday morning probably if Aaron Rodgers is going to play or not. They're not going to give it away. Is it as simple as Aaron Rodgers plays and maybe it's a Steelers win, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play and the Bears win? I think the Bears can win with Aaron Rodgers on the field, don't get me wrong. I think that defense is really good too. Your thoughts? Let's go win-loss. We'll start Pittsburgh this week.
You know what? I think either way, there's part of me that chalks us up to a win. I think this is another really important game. Looking at it, to me, there are going to be lots of other important games, but this is one of those, especially when you're going to go up against the Eagles on a short week. You know what? I'm going to give them a win on this one. I get a feeling that that just feels like at this point this team's got to make a decision. I think they might get the win this week either way.
Yeah. Philadelphia, you mentioned Black Friday. I'll say this, and as a Lions fan, people are like, you're an idiot, your team just lost to them. I didn't walk away from Sunday night going, wow, the Eagles are unbeatable. Their defense is amazing, but their offense is struggling. Now, mind you, the Packers at Lambeau have a really good defense. That's tough. And the Bears defense, or the Lions defense, excuse me, is much better than people realize. In fact, I wish their head coach would realize it, because he always doesn't have to win. He's still coaching sometimes to win with the offense, and sometimes you can win with the defense, because I think it's a pretty good unit as well. So, but I didn't walk away going, wow, the Eagles and everybody else, they're not unbeatable. Can the Bears win on Black Friday? We'll give you that game.
That's a really hard one. That's a hard ask on the road, short week. I give that one to the Eagles, and I'd probably chalk that one up to the Eagles now for a couple of months. The Eagles are on a different level, and I think that's going to be a tough game for the Bears to get. That's why, in some ways, for the pure sake of momentum, this game against Pittsburgh is really big.
So that would put them, I'm doing math in my head, so bear with me, Larry, at 8-4 at Green Bay the next week.
Not feeling it. I think they lost last year. That's one, again, I'm not really feeling. I think they take the loss there.
That'd be 8-5. Cleveland would be the layup left on the schedule. The thing with Cleveland, though, and the scores never show it, but that defense is really, really good. And Myles Garrett's playing at a defensive MVP level and all those kind of things. But Larry, you could be starting at quarterback by then.
And they're having trouble finding, with Gabriel, with Sanders, they're trying to figure out where in the world they're going to be. The Bears get that win. I know things can happen, but that's one they must have. I think that's as must. If you have one game on the schedule you must have, you really can't lose that one. They get that one.
Yeah, I think that puts them, by our math, at 9-5, and then Green Bay at home. Don't they split with Green? Can't they find a way to split with Green Bay?
Yeah, and this is where, I've actually thought about a path to 10 wins, and this is where they get one. I think they get a path to 10 wins game kind of here. This is one I feel like, this will be, if it plays out right, maybe I'm talking with too many big games. This could be one of the bigger home games for the Bears, regular season-wise, in a little while. I guess for me, the one you think of is the 2020 game where they played in the final game of the year when the playoffs were on the line. Now, they lost that game and had no crowd, but they ended up making the playoffs. This would be a fairly significant game, assuming the Bears can get 2 wins between then and now. But I like that, and I think that's a big win for the Bears. I have a feeling the Bears get that win.
10-5. San Francisco looked really good last week. I think, and you look at the Packers real fast, beating a team twice in a season is tough. Doing it in the span of 3 weeks is really tough as well. I know it's the Packers. I don't like them either. You guys don't like them. I don't like them. That's what we agree on. But it's tough, I think, to beat a team twice in 3 weeks. So, I would almost think the Bears find a way to split with them. San Francisco looks really good right now. Going out to San Francisco late in the year, despite the injuries, Kyle Shanahan figuring out a way to keep that team relevant. I think that's going to be a huge game when it comes to the wild card itself, with San Francisco being relevant as well. Your thoughts on that game? Yeah,
that one doesn't feel good to me. The finish of the year doesn't feel great. I don't know if they get a win there. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one, and you don't know at that point what San Fran's going to be fighting for. The Bears will be fighting for at that point, because I would assume if they're already at 10 wins at that point, a division title probably is still within reach, but we'll see.
Last game of the season, Larry, I'll be very honest with you. As a Lions fan, I'm worried about the game already, because I still have I still don't trust ever because of my life and growing up as a Lions fan. But and I also don't. I mean, I loved it at the time, and I was giving high fives to my brother and kids. But they ran the score up that second week of the season. Yeah, and I know it was 52-21, and 31 points is 31 points, but karma can sometimes, the saying. So, but with that being said, it's a really talented football team in Detroit. Can the Bears win Week 18 against the Lions?
They could win. Where I've kind of view it in my mind, and looking at the back of the schedule, part of me thinks the Bears get either the Steelers win this week or they get this win at the end of the year. There's just that thought for me that those are, and it's tough to say that because Detroit is so good.
Well, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal right now, Larry. I'll let you guys have the Steelers game. I'll take the Lions game. Deal? Can we take it?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And again, there could be a ton at stake. I would assume if things play out and the Bears can, I mean, if they can beat at least Cleveland and maybe get one somewhere else, they'll be playing for a lot. I mean, maybe 9 wins is the playoff line this year. You kind of see where that's going to land here in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But maybe 9 wins is it. So even if they beat Cleveland, they're sitting at 8 wins. You could be looking at there. So there's a chance, and I think that's the great thing about this 7-3 start. You have a real opportunity to play some very important football games late December and early January.
Yeah,
as long as the wheels don't fall off and you lose, 4 or 5 straight, and then suddenly you're although even then you still have a chance to get to 9.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I guess I'm going to put on my optimism hat and think that they'll get to 10-5.
Yeah.
And one reason again, Matt, is because they've just made every play late when they have to. For longtime Bears fans, this reminds me of the 2001 Bears season. Not as insane, but it reminds me a little of that because that team, in my mind, was good. I think their defense was great. Their offense was trying to figure it out, but they won games in every conceivable fashion, a ton by 1 score, 2 on back-to-back walk-off pick sixes, weird endings. It was just, that was more crazy than this one. But this team is so opportunistic that there's a part of me that thinks that they can get 3 wins here in the final couple weeks. While maybe not being a Super Bowl contender, they certainly can make the playoffs, which would be an enormous deal for the Bears to do that in Ben Johnson's first year.
No, absolutely. I look at it too, and then we'll talk a lot of it real fast. And this isn't being mean to Bears, but as a rival fan, when the Lions started getting good, you could see they were good and they were playing well and they were beating teams and they were impressive. The Bears long term have to, and I think they will. I think they got the right coach. I think they run the football. But I don't know for sure if this isn't just breaks going the Bears' way and this, or if this is a fix for the long term yet. I'll say this: they run the football, and I like to champion when I get something right. And I told people when Ben Johnson came over, everybody was really excited, like Caleb Williams, those wide receivers, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no, like he wants to run the football. He will run, and that's exactly what the first thing he solved in Detroit was running the football. The first thing he solved in Chicago was running the football. They do it at a high level. And I'll tell you this, Bears fans, I don't know if it looks the same next year. I don't think Ben Johnson is successful running the football, but he wants to be elite at running the football. And I don't know if Monange and Swift, Lions had Swift and, I can't think of he scored 17 touchdowns. The former Packers running back. Oh, gosh.
No, I'm trying to think of.
Oh, it's killing me. But anyways, and they shipped him off. And they went and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. And they went and got David Montgomery. And it was like, okay, they're still he wants to run the football, but he wants to be elite at doing it. I think they're good at doing it. I think that's an upgrade this offseason. People are going to be like, really? He's working with a run game? I think he still wants more out of that. The Illini. They played last night, the UC. I think it was Brad Underwood after the game said that like they scheduled a game there 8 years ago and it was empty, or not empty, but it was not a lot of people. There was 18,000 people there last night, 99% Illinois fans. Didn't get the job done, but just talk about, that program in that city and being relevant is a beautiful thing for Illinois fans.
It feels like the late '90s and the early to mid 2000s, like when I was in school, when I was covering the team. It was really delightful. And again, they didn't win. It was a good early season game. I think both sides had their own issues. Alabama just was able to hit more on those offensive possessions late, and Illinois missed more free throws. But Bama missed free throws too. Illinois just missed a little more. Bama ends up winning the game. But it was really nice to see that atmosphere and to see people really engaged in the program. It's been a great run here for Illinois because you've seen their main revenue sports, football, men's basketball, and even women's basketball, have done a really great job to resurrect after really being dormant for a number of years. And that Brad Underwood game was 2018 when they brought Ohio State up here, and they had 5,000 people. And I remember there was no enthusiasm for Illinois basketball. They were really bottom fifth of the Big Ten at that point. There was no energy, and it's certainly a testament to what Underwood has done, what athletic director Josh Whitman has done, what Brett Bielema has done with football, and then Shauna Green with women's basketball. There's definitely an energy about Atlanta athletics that was there when I was in school, now almost 25 years ago, that's returned. And it was really nice to see that at the United Center, to feel that, even with a loss, and there's disappointment in that, but it's so early in college basketball, and that team is so new. But it was really cool to see the group. I guess that's the one thing about NIL. You get to kind of discover, especially basketball, these whole new teams every year and what they can do. And Stojakovic is really good.
Yeah.
But it was great to see. That atmosphere was incredible, and it's really nice to see and encouraging. And probably the biggest thing I take away from that game, even beyond what happened on the court.
Larry, our OTA poll question for today is, and I want you to answer it before I let you go. Next week is a holiday week, and you got Thanksgiving, so you got food, you got family, you got football, and you got so much great college basketball. I mean, you have UConn and Illinois play on Black Friday, and there's so many great games. Of those four things, what are you looking forward to the most next week for the holiday weekend? Is it food? Is it football? Is it family? Or is it college basketball?
I'm always family. It's always nice to see family. And I'll watch all those games. So Friday's going to be a lot of fun. So I always do my day after 4-miler running wise. So I always do that. So I'll have to do that really early in the morning this year. For those of you in Chicago, I always pick up my Goose Island Bourbon County barrel-aged beer that they bring out that day. Yeah. So I'll be full of sports, but it's mainly family. That's probably the one that I like the most.
Another, and I apologize for keeping you. Are you a real Christmas tree or a fake Christmas tree type of guy?
I've always had fake Christmas trees, just because I've always had apartments. So it never really made a lot of sense to have one. Yeah. I actually lived in Asheville, North Carolina, where about 20 miles north of the city, they grow Christmas trees. So, but even there, I just always had the plastic one because I always had apartments, and there were a couple that banned them. So I pretty much had to do it, but it worked for me.
I don't get a say, and my wife's not listening. She never watches, but I don't have much of a say in life, Larry. She kind of runs which she should. She's smart and I'm not. And I'm a fake Christmas tree kind of guy. And she loves to go chop them down. And so every Friday after Thanksgiving, every Black Friday, we go out and get that. This year I have to go do the Iowa pregame radio. And so I'm trying to convince them to go on their own. They'll be fine. My kids are old enough, they can do it. And then I'm going to go get that radio show done. And I look forward to Black Friday with the basketball that's on. Bears play. There's so much good stuff. There's other football on as well. College football, the Iowa-Nebraska game is on. So it's a good weekend. But I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for doing this. We'll catch up again real soon, maybe before that Lions-Bears game. Hopefully it means a lot for both teams, and that'd be a ton of fun. So, Larry, I appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate having me on.
That is Larry Hawley joining us right now. And check out Sports of a Certain Age. Go to his YouTube channel right now. Stop what you're doing. You're watching on YouTube. Go over and subscribe to Sports of a Certain Age. It's cool. I enjoy it because that's the age that I am. I'm close to Larry's age as well. So go check that out on YouTube. Larry, we love his insight. We love his content and all that kind of stuff. And he's right. It's fun for Bears fans right now. And I get that. I'm not being a hater or anything like that. Enjoy it. The fans that are serious about a Super Bowl right now, pump the brakes, but you have nothing to apologize about. Be excited. Bears football, they're 7-3 and playing good football right now. We got more to get to. You're watching OTA on a Thursday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. and the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities. Thank you guys for tuning in today. It's been a fun show. A couple quick updates before we let you go. Just minutes ago, Addison Bjorn, a 5-star prospect that Iowa was in for, along with Kansas, UConn, and several others, picks Texas. So to the surprise of no one, I think that kind of came out last night into today, but Addison Bourne picks Texas. Iowa still has a really good recruiting class, especially with McKenna Felichko, but that would have been really nice to get 2 5-stars, but Iowa and Jan Jansen will move on and continue to recruit other players to the University of Iowa. We'll talk more about that with maybe Kyle Huseman tomorrow, especially with Iowa and Baylor tonight. It seems kind of like a Kyle Huseman type of Friday coming up tomorrow here in the Quad Cities. So also, don't forget, the Iowa men play tonight. That's a 6 o'clock game. So it's Iowa at 6 with the men, 8 o'clock between Iowa and Baylor. So make sure you check out both of those as well. Also tomorrow in the show, we are hoping, and we should have Jess Settles, really, really good color commentator for the Big Ten, whether it's Big Ten Network, whether it's ESPN, FS1, whatever one he's working on. Jess does an amazing job. He knows Iowa basketball, but then also Big Ten basketball as well. We're going to catch up with him tomorrow as well. So it should be a fun Friday show as we close up the week right here on Off the Air. Also, don't forget the Hawkeye Tailgate Show is coming your way at 12:30 on Saturday. We'll be live from Krause Family Plaza at Kinnick Stadium. If you can't stop by and say hi, listen, please do that as well. We are everywhere that is the Hawkeye Radio Network, especially here in the Quad Cities. It's Vintage Radio 107.7 FM. Is the new home for Iowa athletics here in the Quad Cities. So take a listen. It was just announced that former Hawkeye Jay Norvell will be the honorary captain. Of course, Norvell was the head coach at Colorado State until earlier this season. He was let go earlier this season. So kind of cool for Coach Ferentz to have him back as the honorary captain. So we'll have him on the show, Caden Weegan on the show, Pat Anger will be on the show. My good friend Jake Headwell will join us on the show as well. So a lot to get to coming up this Saturday on the Hawkeye Tailgate Show on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Excited to have one more home game this year at Kinnick Stadium. Also want to thank our guests today, Kedric Prince. If you missed that, go check it out. Talking Illinois basketball. According to Ked, Illinois doesn't have any major concerns moving forward when it comes to weaknesses. And they have the victory over Texas Tech, and he called it a lost opportunity, losing to Alabama last night. I'd agree. Free throw shooting killed them in the end. His rankings for the Big Ten right now, power-wise, goes Purdue, Illinois, and then Michigan. I believe it was Michigan State and UCLA is his top 5. So go listen to Tom Kakert talk to everything Iowa. And then, of course, my good friend Larry Hawley talking Bears, Illini, and everything in between as we wrapped up the show. Make sure you go to our to my X account and vote on the poll question of the day. Next week is Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving weekend. What are you most excited about? Feast week, which means basketball, college basketball games, football, which means NFL, Black Friday stuff with Iowa and Nebraska, food itself, turkey stuffing, mashed potatoes, all that good stuff, or getting together with family, seeing people you don't get to see very often as well. So go log in. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving food next week as well, because I go back and forth. Whether it's overrated, not overrated, all that kind of stuff. We'll get into it next week as well. I want to thank everyone for listening, and make sure you tune in tomorrow. One last OTA before we get to the weekend. We'll see you guys then.